Amidst the carnage, a lone warrior stood tall. His face was streaked with dirt and blood, a testament to the ferocity of the battle. But his eyes burned with an unquenchable rage, reflecting the inferno that raged within his heart.
This was Ashwatthama, the son of Dronacharya, a formidable warrior now fueled by grief and vengeance. The decimation of the Kaurava army, an army he had fought valiantly to defend, weighed heavily upon him. The war had taken much, but it was the death of his beloved father that had truly unhinged him, unleashing a tempest of fury that threatened to consume everything in its path.
This was no ordinary warrior's anger. This was the fury of a son who had lost his father, a disciple who had lost his guru, a loyalist who had lost his king. And he would have his revenge. The Pandavas, the very reason for his misery, would pay for their transgressions. He swore an oath, his voice a guttural growl amidst the dying groans of fallen warriors. He would unleash his wrath upon them, even if it meant defying fate itself.
Ashwatthama was no ordinary warrior. He carried in his veins the legacy of a lineage steeped in martial prowess and spiritual wisdom.
His father, Dronacharya, was a revered Brahmin and a master of warfare. He was the preceptor of both the Kauravas and Pandavas, imparting to them the knowledge of archery and the art of war.
Ashwatthama, born to Dronacharya and Kripi, inherited his father's martial skills and his mother's unwavering devotion. His childhood was spent in the Gurukul, the traditional school of learning, where he excelled in all forms of combat. He mastered the use of various weapons, from the sword and the mace to the bow and arrow, but his true strength lay in his knowledge of celestial weapons, weapons of unimaginable power bestowed upon him by his father. Growing up alongside the Kauravas and Pandavas, Ashwatthama developed a close bond with them, particularly with Duryodhana, the eldest Kaurava prince. They trained together, sparred together, and forged a friendship that would shape their destinies. Under Dronacharya's tutelage, Ashwatthama blossomed into a formidable warrior. He was a master swordsman, his movements a blur as he wielded his weapon with precision and grace. He was an archer par excellence, capable of hitting the smallest target with uncanny accuracy.
But his true prowess lay in his knowledge of the Astrovidya, the science of celestial weapons.
Dronacharya, privy to the secrets of these divine weapons, had passed on his knowledge to his beloved son. Ashwatthama learned to invoke the power of these weapons, each with its unique properties and devastating potential. He understood the responsibility that came with wielding such power, but he was also aware of the edge it gave him in battle. His skills marked him as a warrior to be reckoned with, a force to be feared on the battlefield. His prowess was not limited to just physical combat. Ashwatthama was also a skilled strategist, able to analyze battlefield situations and devise cunning tactics. He understood the ebb and flow of war, knowing when to attack and when to defend, when to be aggressive and when to exercise restraint. This combination of martial skill and strategic acumen made him an invaluable asset to the Kaurava army. While Ashwatthama held respect for all his kin, it was Duryodhana who held a special place in his heart. They were more than just cousins. They were comrades who had trained together, laughed together, and dreamt of glory together.
As Duryodhana's ambition grew, so did Ashwatthama's loyalty towards him. He saw in Duryodhana a leader who would restore the Kauravas to their former glory, and he pledged his unwavering support to his cause.
This loyalty was tested time and again as the rivalry between the Kauravas and Pandavas escalated. Despite knowing the righteous claim of the Pandavas, Ashwatthama stood by Duryodhana, bound by his friendship and his sense of duty. He fought valiantly for the Kaurava cause, earning a reputation for his courage and his unwavering commitment to his king.
The bond between them ran deep, fueled by mutual respect and a shared sense of purpose. Ashwatthama believed in Duryodhana's vision for the future, and he was willing to risk everything, even his own life, to see that vision realized.
His loyalty was absolute, his commitment unwavering. Even as the war raged on and the Kaurava army faced imminent defeat, Ashwatthama's faith in Duryodhana never wavered. Section 5. The martyrdom of a guru, seeds of vengeance. The tide of the war turned when Dronacharya, heartbroken and disillusioned, laid down his arms on the battlefield. Dronacharya as S2, the Pandavas, using deceit and trickery, convinced me of my son's death, shattering my spirit and leaving me vulnerable to attack. It was a moment of profound tragedy, a testament to the brutal realities of war. Ashwatthama as S1. For me, the news of my father's death was a blow that shattered my world. The grief was all-consuming, a searing pain that ripped through me, leaving behind a hollow void. Ashwatthama as S1. But grief soon gave way to rage, an uncontrollable fury directed towards those he held responsible for his father's demise, the Pandavas. I swore to avenge my father's death, my oath laced with venom and despair. Ashwatthama as S1. The Pandavas had taken from me the one person I revered above all else, and I would make them pay. His rage was palpable, a tangible force that radiated from him, chilling the air around him. Ashwatthama as S1. The death of my father, the revered guru, became a turning point in the war. It pushed me over the edge, transforming me from a formidable warrior into an instrument of vengeance, consumed by a desire for retribution that would have devastating consequences. The death of Dronacharya, the revered guru, became a turning point in the war. It pushed Ashwatthama over the edge, transforming him from a formidable warrior into an instrument of vengeance, consumed by a desire for retribution that would have devastating consequences. Though he had unleashed a weapon of unimaginable power, Ashwatthama's thirst for vengeance was far from quenched. The Pandavas, sensing the approaching doom, were advised by Krishna, their divine charioteer, to surrender to the weapon's power. They laid down their arms, offering no resistance, and the Narayanastra, sensing their submission, spared them. The weapon, bound by divine law, could not harm an unarmed opponent. Knowing the destructive potential of the weapon, Ashwatthama hesitated, but his rage and despair outweighed his better judgment. He invoked the mantra, his voice trembling with a mix of fear and anticipation. The earth trembled and the sky turned a fiery red as the Narayanastra manifested itself, ready to unleash its fury upon the world. Consumed by grief and vengeance, I vowed to obliterate the Pandavas. I decided to unleash the Narayanastra, a weapon of unimaginable power bestowed upon me by my father. The Narayanastra, a weapon of divine origin, was not to be used lightly. It was a weapon of last resort, capable of annihilating entire armies.
As darkness fell upon the battlefield, cloaked in shadows and driven by my insatiable thirst for revenge, I crept into the Pandava camp. The camp, still celebrating their victory, was shrouded in an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional sounds of revelry. The air was thick with the stench of blood and death, a grim reminder of the day's battle.
Armed with his sword and fueled by an unholy rage, Ashwatthama transformed into a harbinger of death, his heart cold, his mind consumed by vengeance. He moved like a phantom through the camp, his blade reaping a bloody harvest. He spared no one, not even the unarmed soldiers who lay sleeping, oblivious to the carnage that unfolded around them.
The camp, once a symbol of victory and hope, was transformed into a scene of unimaginable horror. Cries of terror and pain filled the night air, a chilling symphony of death and despair. My heart hardened by rage, I felt no remorse, no pity. I was an instrument of vengeance, an avatar of death, my every action driven by an unquenchable thirst for retribution.
The night echoed with the cries of the dying, a testament to Ashwatthama's descent into madness, a chilling reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked rage. He had crossed a line, committing an act of unspeakable barbarity, staining his soul with the blood of innocence. The news of the massacre at the Pandava camp spread like wildfire, sending shockwaves through the remaining warriors. The Pandavas, devastated by the loss of their sons, were overcome with grief and rage. Draupadi, their wife, her heart heavy with the weight of their loss, confronted Ashwatthama.
You, Ashwatthama, have committed an unforgivable act. I curse you, condemning you to an existence of eternal suffering. You will roam the earth for 3,000 years, your body ridden with disease, your wounds forever festering.
Ashwatthama, his rage spent, his vengeance complete, stood before her, his head bowed in defeat. He knew he had transgressed, his actions unforgivable. He accepted his fate, the weight of his sins heavy on his soul.
The curse of Draupadi was not just a punishment, but a constant reminder of my heinous act, a burden I would carry for all eternity.
The curse of Draupadi was a stark reminder of the cyclical nature of violence, of the karmic consequences of one's actions. Ashwatthama, once a revered warrior, was now a pariah, condemned to a life of solitude and suffering, a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked rage and the futility of vengeance. The curse took hold. Ashwatthama felt his body racked with pain, his wounds refusing to heal. The once mighty warrior was now a wretched figure, his body a testament to his sins. He wandered the earth, a solitary figure haunted by the ghosts of his past. His quest for redemption was long and arduous, his every step a reminder of his eternal torment.
I sought solace in the solitude of forests and mountains, far from the gaze of humanity. I meditated, seeking forgiveness for my sins, hoping to find some measure of peace.